Okay, so heaven's force comes down, earth's force goes up. So the crown chakra, as long as we're alive, there's always energy streaming through it. So we don't need to really assess it from this point of view. And the same with the root chakra. Those are the two primal forces. So we're not going to assess them. All we've done is figured out what's happening in between. Over here, very simple. Heaven's force and earth's force collide, and here we get thoughts. Some very simple keywords. Thoughts. Heaven's force and earth's force collide in the throat, and we get words. A heart center, we get relationships. At the solar plexus is where we get your desires, your hungers in life, right? That's where you get hunger. Below the navel is the center of our physical movement and vitality. So what's the middle chakra? This is the center of all of it. Heart center. If you have a thought about something and you like it, you move towards it. If you have a thought about something you don't like, you move away from it. So these two, thoughts and physical movement, ideally have their own internal body balancing system. If you have a desire, if it's big enough desire, you'll speak about it. So desires and words tend to have a balancing factor. And of course, the primal forces keep us on the earth. So one force keeps us on the planet, the other force keeps us moving up and away. So we have a natural balancing system going on. One you could say is more expansive. Upper chakras, maybe you'll say, are more expansive. Lower chakras are more down to earth. So there's a balancing system. But heart has no other chakra that's intimately connected to balance. So as heaven's force comes down and earth's force comes up, that's what makes energy go out to our arms, so that the only way the heart chakra gets its balance is through relationships. So our center in life, between thoughts, words, desires, physical movement, is relationships. And so in the lower hara, this physical movement from both these chakras makes legs. That's how we move. Heart center. We reach out to others. So now you have an empty and full in one of these keywords. You recorded that, right, for your partner? So now you're going to give some advice. You're going to fill in this sentence. This is what I call a when you. When you harmonize keyword to the full. Full is the one that pushed you away. Then your empty improves. It's the first step. Past, you could say, in the past, did you find that when you harmonized your, whatever the keyword for the full is that you're finding here, then your empty, whatever that keyword is, was better? Did you find that that was a scenario for you in the past? So, everybody see how to do that? Very simple recommendation. All you have to do is put one of these keywords into where you found this full. That's the one that pushed you away. And you put one of these other keywords into was empty. That's what called you in. Physical movement and vitality.
Okay.
So you're going to give them a when you. You're not going to say, oh, I found your first chakra was full, your third chakra was full. I'm not going to say any of that. So they ask you, so what did you feel when you were doing that energy work on me? Well, what I found was that it seemed when you harmonize your fill in the blank, then your fill in the blank will be better. Or was better. It was the past. See how to do that? Okay, so tell them. Do when you. Just do a when you. Nothing else. Don't tell them anything else.
So,
When you
When you.
When you.
okay.
Would it be
In the past.
In the past.
In the past, did you find when you harmonized?
In the past, did you find when you harmonized your relationships? Then your physical movement and vitality were
Was better, improved.
was improving.
Yeah.
In other words, I was relying on other people because
That's relationships.
right?
That's relationships.
I was thinking of it more as like finding center, but
In relationships, right?
yeah.
Other people.
I think I was trying to find happiness from people instead of from me and myself. I don't know if that's what you found.
Well, he found those centers.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
My happiness relied on other people in the past. When you harmonize your relationships,
I have
thoughts.
Okay.
So that's why I felt like yours should be the other way around. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. What was the question?
As far as reading whether it's empty or full,
Yeah.
that is what confuses me because
Like a close
Oh, sorry.
connection.
the like if something feels, for instance, when I'm feeling what I would say what feels like it was taking me in, maybe that's opposite. Okay, so what I felt was like a lot of heat and felt like it was. I don't feel like it felt. I felt like it felt full, not empty.
Good.
But
Okay.
but how? So I'm saying like, how do you judge whether something is full or empty? Like, you know, if it's taking me in, like I felt like it was really full in her throat, and that's why I was drawn in. Like there was lots more heat. The other one felt a lot weaker. Like it need, you know, like not necessarily that it was pushing me away, but there was nothing there. Like it was
Oh,
empty.
if there's
So
nothing-
it seems opposite to me.
Okay, so if there's nothing there and it wants you in, that's called an empty. But if it pushes you away, whether it's hot, cold, or anything else that you feel, that's a full.
Okay, so
So
then
sometimes full is hot and it sends you away. Sometimes it's hot, but it still wants your hand in, so that's called an empty.
Like I felt like, especially with people, like it was, it felt like my hand would go in easily, but it was like a weird pull away. Like so, it was like that told me it was almost like it was wanting to pull me in more because there was no resistance pulling away from it.
Okay. Somehow you want to assess which place wanted your hand the closest. It says, come on in.
okay, where your hand is the closest, that means
Is empty.
empty.
It's come on in.
Okay.
I want you close to me.
But it's
Bring me
for
more.
doing, like, so I guess, okay, yeah, I guess
And the
it felt
place
like it
that's
was
full is going, if I get too close, go away from me. Go away. I've got too much here. Go away. Send your hand away.
Okay,
Yeah, like-
that's right then.
Hot or cold, doesn't matter. Just energy.
His chest felt cold and I felt
But you
drawn
so
away,
that, okay?
and he felt warm here. I felt
Very nice. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it by temperature.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's hurting.
What's the relationship between the desires and the thoughts? Like those two chakras.
Okay, so you can have
Yeah.
everyone. One sec. So you can have relationships between all the chakras. All I'm saying was that in those natural pairs, there's a natural inherent setup for the entrance points to help each other. The thoughts go with movements. It's just dividing the body in halves, really. And you can have lots of different relationships, which is what you found. You all found that like one area is empty, one area is full. It has nothing necessarily to do with the natural inherent balancing of chakras. So you're finding out about what the relationship is between words or relationships or energies. So that's what we're going to find out a little bit more of.
Oh.
Right. The point is that there was a relationship going on of extreme between any two chakras. It doesn't matter which ones. Okay. All right. So let's hear one of your Wenus so far. Just one example. Who got a real strong one? It was easy to figure out. Go ahead.
Her heart. And I didn't feel heat.
Okay, so tell me the Wenu.
Pardon?
What was the Wenu? So when, she, when you.
When you harmonize your heart.
Your what? Your
Relationships. When you
Relationship.
harmonize your relationships, When you harmonize your relationships, then your desires.
proof. Okay. So the key to her desires is getting those relationships worked out. So the full has the most, sending you away. So when that gets harmonized, then it can start to move into the place that's empty. That's how this is set up. Okay, now, so that's first level of recommendation. You also figured out clockwise and counterclockwise, yeah? Counterclockwise means, so if your hand wanted to go counterclockwise, so instead of doing a pendulum, you're doing this all on your own. You're feeling, oh, that energy is going counterclockwise. That relates to focusing or clarifying the key word of that chakra. If it's going clockwise, then it means expressing the key word of that chakra. We can do an example, just so you hear that. How about let's do your example. Relationships was going which way?
Counter. So clarify.
So it's going counter. So it means this will make it more specific. So when you clarify and focus on what you need in relationship, then your desires will, which way was it going?
Clockwise.
It will be, then your desires will be expressed in the world. See how to do that? Clockwise went with expressed in the desires. Okay. Now you could have had the other way. You could have been, when you express yourself in a relationship, that means be social, get out there, but you didn't get that. You got, no, you need to go inside and clarify what you really need and want in a relationship. That's what your body is asking you to do, because that's the way the chakras are moving you, if you listen. Then your desires that are empty will have a chance to be expressed. If they're empty, they want energy to express. They're going to get that energy from the full. See how to do that? So tell your partner more specifically now, on those full and empties, you're going to use the same key words, but instead of harmonize, you're going to say either clarify or focus or express, depending which way it was going, counterclockwise or clockwise.
Counterclockwise was
Clarify. Counterclockwise is clarify or focus, inquire within. Clockwise is express.
Okay.
Hi folks, wanted to make a couple notes on the chakras. So in an ideal world, the first and the seventh chakra, the second and the sixth chakra, the third and the fifth chakras all line up, and we're in complete harmony. You may say we're within the infinite universe. Of course, that's providing that all our relationships at the fourth chakra are also in harmony. So that's the ideal world. What actually happens is that any number of the chakras could be full, could be empty. And so that's what we're looking at. Whatever the ideal natural balance of all the chakras above and below are supposed to be doing, we inevitably are challenged and we grow through adversity. So different chakras become full. Some days different chakras become empty on other days. And that's what we're helping people to discover, to find their ideal balance on each given day. From the past, we might find patterns that show up on the back and that are also consistent on the front. So these are all factors that we look at. And we can also connect the back with the front to do a reading how the past is affecting the front. If in fact on a particular day that something from the past, let's say, is full and something in the present is empty, or vice versa. Something in the present can be very full on the front of the body, and something on the back, some past event, is craving attention. So many possibilities exist for full and empty. Back is past, front is now moving forward. Here's an example. When you express some words from an event that happened in the past, then your desires from this moment forward will be more clearly defined. Now you tell me what was full and which way was it rotating and which was empty. Which way was the empty rotating in the example I gave you? Here's another example. When you define the most important desires of each day from here on in, then your thoughts about something from the past will also be more clearly defined. Which chakras were full and empty, and which way were they rotating? Once we get pretty adept at figuring out what's full and what's empty, the next level is to determine the quality of the chakra. So a chakra might be buzzing very, very quickly, whether it's full or empty. So we get a sense that, let's say, the throat area is buzzing and it seems very, very quick, erratic kind of energy. Then we're understanding the quality of that person's words and that person's communication. So eventually we start sensing the quality. What does it feel like? What does it remind us of? Something in nature. What comes to mind right now is bees buzzing. So that might remind you of their throat chakra seems to be buzzing and very vibrant. It reminds you of something in nature, yeah? Or maybe you get a calm but very cold stream that's looking for a little bit more vitality. So that's where intuition drops in even more, and we get a sense of the qualities that a person is going through in their life. And when we hold over the chakras, we can energy empathize with the feeling, with the quality, and put our own energy in a complementary opposite state. So if we feel buzzing bees, then we can let calming, quiet chi run through us. And still, it's merely a suggestion. If our client or subject responds to it, well, that's great. We simply point out, make a suggestion, and if it works for them, then they start to change. And if not, maybe they need to be exactly where they are in this given moment. Another important note: when we make a very accurate recommendation using the when use, the next point that a person will bring up, well, that's great, that sounds really, really accurate what you're saying. How do I do that? Will be their next question. Without giving them advice that might work for you or the advice that might have worked for other people, a starting place is, listen very carefully, if the full chakra lies geographically above the empty chakra in location, that means, I'll say it again, if the full chakra is in a location above the empty chakra, that means that this person's energy is looking to move downward from the full above, and ideally when the full becomes in harmony, then that energy will flow down to the empty that's craving attention. The opposite is that if the full chakra in location is below the empty chakra location. So for example, if the second chakra is full and the fifth chakra is their emptiest, then this person's energy wants to go upwards. So in this last scenario, when they ask you, how do I do that? How do I harmonize these chakras? Then you can simply suggest, when you make decisions that are more elating, that are more upward moving and expanding, then your empty, in this case communication, your words will improve. Be expressed if it was going clockwise, or be more defined and clarified if the chakra was going counterclockwise. In the first scenario, the full, let's say the third eye, the thoughts, was really, really full, and their desire chakra below the thought chakra was empty. So desires are empty. So in this case, the energy needs to go down. And so we can suggest, so when you make decisions, make the decisions that are most grounding. That means food, exercise, relationship choices, what is most grounding. That will send the energy downward. And that way they can figure out for themselves, when they make a particular choice, if it's more grounding from the full above the empty lower chakra, ideally they'll feel better. Or if the full is below the empty in location, then when they express more elation and expansion and fun, what's more fun and elating for you, then ideally their chakras will come more into balance. One last point, you could put that recommendation, either grounding or elating, into your when you. So when you make choices that are more grounding, your words, your communication will be expressed more easily into the world. Their thoughts, third eye, was full. Here the fifth chakra, words, communication, was going clockwise. And it was empty. If the fifth chakra was going counterclockwise, so when you make decisions that are more elating and inspiring and upward rising, then your words will be more focused and you'll be able to choose the more correct, essential, and most important words. Here, one of the lower chakras was full. So here were some tips on how to fine-tune and go to the next level of chakra recommendations. Thanks. See you later.